Hello and welcome to the Orca Pod, the apex predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. This is the penultimate episode of our Backyard Survivor 5 One World coverage. This is the most anticipated podcast of the season. It is the one that all of the people in the cast clamber to be on. It is the dream to not finish in the finale because Annabel will not watch up to the finale. That is too much. So you must be a post-merge but pre-finale boot to make it on to the tea party. But that's where you want to be. That's where the stars arrive because, let's face it, stars don't make it to the end. The interesting people always get booted. And that's why we bring them here to the tea party to find out all the interesting hot goss that went on during the season. We have one more episode. It will be in 2 weeks' time because I have to assemble the Congress of the Orcas, and that takes some time because the Orcas are important people who then will need to vote on who is the Orca of the season, and I will catch up with Kyle and Brian too. That is in 2 weeks' time as we finish our coverage, and then after that, our 100th episode. Be tuning in for the 100th episode. I guarantee you that if you were on an LRG that has existed and aired to date, you will see yourself on the screen and your name will be mentioned. No further details we provide, but no, you will matter and you will be there in some sense. So be there for our 100th episode in the first week of April. Now, I'll be getting off your screen in a second. I'll be bringing in the most important person. She does real podcasts now, not just this generic stuff to a crowd of people that, like to hear about themselves. Real podcasts on a real podcast stream, but she still graces us with her presence, probably only because she's my friend, and I do really appreciate that. I know that she's binge-watched the season in about 2 times today, so let me welcome Annabel. Welcome.
There is so much to unpack, and it's only been 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So can I just maybe address this in order? Also, don't mind the lighting or the fact I got out the shower. This is way past my bedtime.
You're looking
First of all,
sultry.
Thank you, honey. You have theme music with whale noises now.
Have you not been following the podcast? We've gone up levels.
I mean, I do remember you had some kind of intro new vibe last time, but I don't remember that. And I don't listen to the podcast. I love you enough. I love you enough to do this. I don't love you enough to listen. Second point, on that point, 100 episodes.
100.
Already? How many episodes of this are you doing a week?
We basically we calculated it in 2 years because we had our Orcaversary at the end of January. We had done 92 episodes in 2 years. So almost one a week.
That is absolutely insane. I admire your dedication. The fact you have done 100 episodes to an audience of 15, those people must feel so special.
Oh, so special. And I feel special. I feel special that they care. You were, of course, there at the beginning when our first coverage was even called the Orca Pod. We started the Canberra Ultimate Sacrifice coverage. That was the first season we ever did. And this was before we even called the Orca Pod. We only became the Orca Pod during that season following the inspiration of James Wolfe. So it has been that long. A bit over 2 years.
Incredible. Truly inspiring. And you know what I have to say? It is part of the bit that I resent having to watch these LRGs in order to come here. I watched the entire season of Backyard One Well today on 2X. They're getting better. The LRGs are getting better. They are very watchable. It was very watchable. There were points where I thought, I would quite like to watch this part on 1.5x. But unfortunately, we were working to a deadline and that wasn't an option. So No, I think I've said this for the last few now. Very watchable, enjoyable. I thought it was a high quality season.
This was an incredible season in terms of the production, and I think some of the people we have joining you on the tea party are going to be delivering. Now, I know you asked me for some questions. You watched it, of course, and usually I give you some questions.
Watched it, yeah.
Really watched it. I just have 2 points to make, really, that you can cover off. Look, really, you can just ask Mark anything about anything. He'll talk about himself for about 30 minutes. I'm sure you've got that under your belt. So really anything you want to ask Mark is fine. And DC particularly does not like the way Tara plays, and I'm looking for a heated debate about that. DC wants more measured gameplay, and Tara's like, fuck that shit. So I'm interested in hearing their debate on there, particularly as they were always on the same tribe, and that didn't work out for either of them. So they're my 2 suggestions to get into.
Okay, I like that there's pre-existing beef between my guests. The best orca pods always come with beef. So I'm excited for that.
No one will forget the greatest tea party of all time with Hoppo and Dom.
That was the greatest showdown in tea party history, and hopefully they can bring the energy tonight, because I'm not staying up past 9:30 for nothing.
And we appreciate you being here. So I'm going to drop out, and I'm going to let you introduce the guests to your tea party.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited because this first guest that I want to bring in team. This man was part of an alliance called Hot Dads Called Dave, and he was a man of mystery. So come on in, DC.
G'day, how are we going? Man of mystery. Oh, that's good. I like that.
You were very elusive, DC, and I've got questions, many questions for you, especially given I actually just found out you're incredibly famous. But before we delve into that, this woman, it's the second time I believe I've had her on the tea party. She was juicy the first time, dropped some tea, so I'm excited to see her showdown with the hot dads. Tara!
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here again.
Incredible. And last but not least, the moment I met him, I knew he was going to be a lot, and he was going to bring a lot of energy to Backyard. I underestimated just how much he was going to deliver. Every scene with this man was like a tea party within itself. Come on in, Mark.
Hi, hello.
Oh,
and the wine. Incredible. I've got to say, all 3 of you did a lot of heavy lifting this season. I thought it was a great season, and I thought the 3 of you really elevated it. I do want to start, though. I want to start with David because, as I said, I watched the whole thing today. I will have missed things because I watched it on 2x, so I've got gaps that need filling. But David, what was going on with you? Like, from what we saw, people would come and have a conversation with you, and even your close allies, you'd be like, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Just watch this space. So
that was editing. I mean, that wasn't fair. And they put this shit-ass music underneath me as well. So Tara's hooked up with, at that point, we'd figured out that Tara had hooked up with Kate. Whether that was true or not, we don't know, but that was the visual. So
they were scissoring.
Good on them. I like to watch. Anyway, what happened was at that point, Tara was trying to come to me and she wanted to talk to me about Kate. Now, in the original edit, they added the questioning. So it made sense, because then everybody was kind of saying, okay, she's trying to either bait me to say something about Kate so she could throw me under the bus, or she was trying to genuinely engage me about Kate. Well, I took it the first way. So I took it that Tara was basically trying to bait me so she could then toss me back to Kate and say, Kate, DC's trying to throw you under the bus. So it was a little unfair because you didn't hear the question and there was not a lot of background to it.
So this is why you don't want to give Tara anything. What about your best friend, Coach?
because there were multiple times when Coach would ask you what you were doing, and you didn't have an answer for Coach either.
Well, it's kind of hard with Coach because there's no gameplay there. There's nothing. There's nothing to bounce off. He's a genuine, lovely guy. He, he was kind of there going, yeah, I'll give myself up for the team. I'll do this. But one of the lovely things about Coach, whether Tara will agree or not, is he actually did in a kind of weird way bring us together. He did actually bring us together in a way, which is kind of weird. But with Coach, it was very hard to kind of like even try and talk gameplay because there was no gameplay there. So
what I'm hearing is you had a master strategy, but you were just cursed by being on a shit tribe.
Look, it was a difficult tribe to be on, especially when Tara, there was an accident. There was something took place right at the beginning and Tara can kind of back me up on this. Production made a mistake. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom with another person. And what they did, the moment we hit tribe, Kate and Tara took off to the loo. They weren't allowed to take two of them. They both went. The three of them automatically went, well, there's an alliance there. Let's keep our eye on that. And it just kind of solidified that these two were together. And it really was. That's what had happened. The guys had actually formed an alliance. So it kind of all started rolling from there.
I will say that Jacob and I peed behind a shed many times, but we weren't exactly besties at all. So I don't believe
that was the perception. It's the optics. So
okay. Tara, DC alleges that you were scissoring Kate in the bathroom, potentially illegal scissoring. I would like to know, were you in fact super close with Kate? Is this what was going on?
No scissoring occurred. I can confirm that. I don't even remember specifically going to the toilet with Kate. I do know toilet trips are always a controversial thing in LRGs. I don't remember talking any strategy in the toilets. I feel like if anything of significance happened there, I would bring that to the table right now. But I honestly, I was good with Kate. I trusted Kate and I trusted Tarkan a lot, but I don't think anything super underhanded happened in the bathrooms.
No, it was more optics than anything else, T.
Meanwhile, Tara...
Was it just
what was that, Mark?
Did they steal anything from the bathroom? Was it just the ladle?
We only stole the ladle that you know of.
Missed opportunities.
So yeah, the tribe the tribe we ended up with, which is a shame because there was an opportunity that we kind of all missed in that where we decided on tribes and we decided to go with who we went. And I think even Tara, who was one of the ones, I think Tara might have suggested it. It kind of feels that she might have boned herself a bit at that point, getting stuck with some of us. And I think she said as much during. That's kind of, you said so during the show. So
no.
Respond, Tara. What was going on from your perspective, Tara? Mark, we will get to you, but I want them to have it out first.
I was actually very happy with our tribe. I wanted to be on a tribe where no one knew me from outside of the game. I specifically was wanting, in what you're alluding to before, DC, to have Coach as this like figurehead of our tribe. And I do think that did bring us all together a little bit because it meant we all had to move on Coach's level somewhat. So I was actually very happy with the tribe. I felt really tight with Kate and Tarkan from early on. I felt like there was potential to work with you, DC. I just feel like you constantly gave me absolutely nothing. I was actually very happy with my tribe. The only time I really talked mad shit about our tribe was when there wasn't very much strategy conversation happening, which you yourself played a part in making happen. And then when I went over to the swap tribe, I talked shit about the original tribe just to make it seem like I was better to work with than Jacob because I was less loyal. But that was more just to play into what they probably needed to hear. That's it.
Yeah, it kind of came across to us though, Tara, the way you play the game, it's very full on, it's very intense, it's very intellectual, all that sort of stuff. And other people play a rather more social kind of way of playing the game. Mm-hmm. And the two don't always blend that well. And I think that's really where it came in, is that I'd kind of like to play kind of like getting the team together and keeping the team together and moving forward. I mean, we had the numbers when we were moving forward, but we felt like automatically everybody had split off. At no point did you come back to us after merge and say, let's get together. We've got the numbers. We've got advantages. Let's plow forward. You'd already gone off on your own to do your own thing. You're definitely an individual player. You're not a team player. Sorry.
I mean, but I could say the same to you, DC, of when we're on our original tribe, we didn't go to tribal once. Like, that's the time we should be establishing trust with one another and having those conversations. And those conversations were never had with you, ever. So moving into the merge, I did not feel solid with you. Obviously, watching it back, when I see that merge montage of you like wanting to go far with people like myself and Kate, at least in the montage, that was not the perception I got from you ever in the game. And that's was probably a social flaw on your part.
Look, the first thing that came out of my mouth when we sat down is we stay together regardless, no matter what. I trusted you. We kept having eye contact all the time to reassure you, even when you were on the other tribe, that we had you back. You know, we were rooting for you 200%. It's a real shame that either I didn't communicate it well or you didn't get it, but we were absolutely loyal to you, to Tarkhan, to Kate, to Coach, absolutely loyal to all of us. But when we split off and we did our own thing, rather than coming back to the group to test that trust, it looked to us like you'd gone off on your own. And at that point, that's when everything fell to bits.
I mean, I do admit I'm a very erratic player and I get very overstimulated in a merge scenario and get excited to talk to everybody. I won't deny that at all. I do think it was a big flaw in my game to not identify the strength and unity of the collective Orange tribe, and 100% letting Dave go that early was a mistake in hindsight. I 100% admit that, but I feel a lot more apologetic towards Coach than I do to yourself, DC. And your vote out wasn't even really my fault. It was an accident. And Kate and Tarkhan could have placed their votes on Haley.
I bear no ill will to you at all. It was an off comment. It was an off the cuff comment that I made in the interview. I mean, just again, it's kind of like at one point we come out of the merge, they were coming for you en masse. I was running around like a blue ass fly trying to find you to let you know they were coming for you. And the bloody area was so big, I actually didn't get to you post merge to say, Tara, the target is this big on your back. You know, I mean, even things like I proved it again when we had the competition to protect Tarkhan, to make sure that he stayed around. Somehow, by some miracle, we were all so bloody pleased you managed to get through the team split. It was just one of those things we just didn't get together to actually communicate where we were at until it was too late. And even in the show, there's this weird moment where you're standing there with Kate and Tarkhan and going, we're done. And we were, because we were dumb enough not to actually pull ourselves together post-merge. I don't think it's a matter of anything more than you move fast in LRGs, my inexperience with an LRG. There's a whole stack of stuff involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it was a collective failure by our tribe and not just my fault that our tribe fell
absolutely.
apart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I acknowledge the role I would have played in our tribe not being able to have that clear communication going into merge. But I do feel like there were other things each of us could have done if we wanted to stick together as a unit. I was open-minded, like considering options for flexibility as an individual type of player. But like nothing stopped you from going to Tarkhan and asking him to play his legacy advantage on Dave. Nothing stopped that. So I feel like that there was
hook up after post-merge. We didn't even get a chance to talk about it. There's this beautiful moment and it never made it in the show, which is a real shame. So we walked through one well, we stepped onto the other side, everybody disappeared. And I'm stood there by myself with the camera person. And the line was, there's my problem. Because everybody split up and went their own way. And I didn't get to talk to Tarkhan. I couldn't ask him about that. There was so many things because I'd literally been left on my own with nobody to talk to. And then I'm running around trying to find everybody to find out what's going on.
I will say, unfortunately, DC, I do think there was a bit of a plague around you in the sense of people were lumping you in with Coach. People were, because you were the two older guys on our tribe coming into merge, and people had an issue with Coach, and therefore that was going to also end up on yourself as well. And you and Coach had not had the opportunities to connect with other members of the tribe other than at the very start of the game. So I do think it was a bit hard to protect you two from our Pink Tribe onslaught. I think definitely more work should have been done, I'll admit, on my part and other people's parts to protect you guys. But I think like the rapid pace of the merge also played a factor there as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is what it's. The thing is with people like me and Coach, and I guess this is, if I ever were to play again, is that kind of, I don't know whether it's age, I don't know what it is, but there was definitely, when we say we're going to be loyal, we'll be loyal to the point where we don't need to be loyal anymore. So loyalty actually comes it's a high thing. And I know in the game of Survivor that loyalty is a very strong thing to have until you don't need it anymore. And I think that's one of the things with me and Coach. We were loyal to you, everybody, absolutely loyal to the Pink Tribe. But I just don't think we actually communicated it that well.
No, I think Coach communicated it well. But I think individually, you and I struggled to get on the same page of identifying like what are the reasons the two of us should be loyal to one another. That bridge, I don't think we managed to cross with each other properly.
No, and again, it was kind of that weird thing that happened right at the top of the tribe where automatically you two were perceived as a couple. And at that point, Tarkan and I thought I was really tight with Tarkan at that point, and I wasn't. So I'm relying on scissors. Okay, multiple scissors, and I think that's what kind of where the ball started rolling. Is that it was very difficult to kind of trust with the dynamic of everybody in the tribe. I thought Tarkan and I were tight, and we kind of were, but I think in the end, with that tribe of 5, he would have sided with you automatically. Eventually, that would have happened, which left me on the outside, and Coach would have gone first. I would have gone second. The writing was on the wall when that tribe went together, and I could see it, and I was doing my very best, and I'm just going, I'm trying to get some traction here, but I couldn't. And I don't know whether that's because I don't have the skills to, I don't know whether that's because I'm not loud enough or forthright enough or whatever. But the moment that tribe came together, I started looking at it going, okay, we've got those two over there. Tarkan's probably in the middle. I'm working on Tarkan and Coach. And in the end, I kind of just came, well, Tarkan's going to go that way. That makes no sense for him to stick with me and Coach. So once that happened, and I'm trying to work it so that I get into one well later in the piece, because I figure that's where the important stuff's going to happen. And then, of course, Kate lost her vote. And, of course, the loyalty thing comes in again, loyal to the Pink Tribe. We sent Kate to the one well so she could try and get rid of the stuff. So it was just kind of like a comedy of errors, if you want to use Shakespeare.
Yeah. I'm going to cut in here because actually this is my show. Hi, I'm here and I exist. And there's so many places I want to go with everything we just unpacked there. So I do just want it to be known that it is a universal law. If you have played or desperately want to play or even worse, watch an LRG, you are in some way socially deficient. Okay? So we all have a problem. It's not just us. So, I mean, though, it seems like Tarkan was the least socially deficient person on that tribe, sitting squarely in the middle. I just want to nip over to the swap tribes for a moment. Despite being Mr. Popular on Pink, Mark, you had absolutely no shame in letting him know that he was the shit on the bottom of your shoe on his swapped tribe. What was going on in that swap, and why didn't you sort of feel the need to maybe at least pretend a little bit more that it was a group going? Because it meant you then lost him at the merge.
First of all, this has been painful. As someone whose number one ally is always screen time, watching these two for the last 10 minutes has been very hard, but enjoyable. Watching it back, like, I was so deluded. In the moment, I was like, I've got this on lock. Tarkan and I are besties. I'm going to replace him with Megan. I really wasn't feeling her. I was like, I didn't even have to look at him. I didn't even have to look him in the eye when I speak to him. I could just look at the ground and he'll be knowing that like we're on the same wavelengths. In reality, I just look like I am hyper fixated on anything but him and I want nothing to do with him. But that was the furthest thing from the truth. I think I was just living a delusion the whole time.
You were definitely number one delusional diva of the season, and that was with Coach. It was very impressive. Keeping with the swap tribes, and Mark, you will get your screen time, don't worry. It was very much the MARC show for at least 80% of that season. You were purple in the first episode, and then no one could get a word in afterwards.
I know, and so many of my students have gone to watch it, and they've like given up after 30 minutes because they don't have like the brain rot capacity to watch any further. And I'm like, just stick it out. It is coming. Just watch.
David, you were in a rock and a hard place on your swap tribe because you and Coach had two choices. The man whose name I can't remember, who made it clear from his very first confessional that he hates old people and just wants to vote out anybody over the age of 20, or Kate, who just seemed addicted to lying to you and giving you every reason to not to want to work with her. Despite the fact she kept lying to you, why do you think you opted to go with the Kate piece there? Was it this idea of pink strong?
Well, the thing is again, the strategy that I was kind of working along the lines of going into a merge, you have to have numbers, regardless of whether you trust them or not, whether you can work with them or not. You've got to have at least the numbers on your side. So Kate was a number. I mean, she was a pretty strong number and she was a player number. And she was lying straight to our face, which was fine. But she was, again, if we were playing for the numbers going into the merge, and I think it's something that kind of a theme that repeats itself in LRGs, is like, how often have we seen the stronger tribe or the tribe that keeps coming back and winning challenges get wiped out after the merge? I mean, it's happened in Backyard a couple of times. So, I mean, the strategy going in should have been, and the first thing I really said at the tribe when we got there was, we have to stick together if we're going to win. So again, it was kind of like, and Tara said something interesting once about my inflexibility, which I found really interesting. Was again, I kind of think I got stuck on that idea of the numbers, rather than kind of like stepping back and going, actually, no, I need to do something else. And I said this to Brian and when we caught up recently, I said I was about 2 tribals behind about when to turn it to an individual game. I was still playing a team game and I should have been playing an individual. That's where Tara got it right.
So going into the merge, this is what you're working with here, DC. You've got Coach, who has only just started to clock that maybe he shouldn't have played his shot in the dark on the very first vote. And it's all up in it is not playing the game. You've got Kate, who's lied to you extensively. You've got Tara, who you don't like. And you've got
I don't like Tara. I do. It's just the time didn't suit the game.
And you've got Tarkan, who seems to me maybe the best option there. Well, who are you? You're still stuck in the pink strong, despite not particularly liking the pink tribe. After that first vote, where Coach is the first one out, right? Did you start expanding your relationships? Did you find anybody from the other tribes you didn't despise?
That had already happened. So Haley and I had already had a quiet conversation on the side. Now, whether it was true or not, but since then, Haley has said, David, when we did that, we were going to try and move forward. Whether we would have gone far or not, we will never, ever know. But we certainly had that conversation at that time. Yeah. And there was a lot of manipulation about Coach and whether we were going to vote for Coach. And in the end, it kind of came down to I was trying to ingratiate myself with Haley and work that angle. And that's why I voted Coach in the end. It was really just trying to say, hey, look, I'm with you. I'm a vote. Let's move forward. So that was really what the angle I was coming from at that time, was really just trying to find another way in somewhere. Because I think my line was something along the lines of the pink tribe went to pieces so fast we got hit by the shrapnel. So then that was it. It was just trying to scramble to find an in somewhere. And that site, I can't tell you, it was so frigging big that even trying to find people was a problem.
The merge vote was immensely confusing to me, not only in part because I was watching it on 2x, but so much was going on. And then I'm watching the previously on in the next episode and see MARC has come up with this whole ridiculous situation with a super idol, which everyone except for Tara buys hook, line, and sinker. So I end up having to go back and watch the merge tribal again. What the hell actually happened with that merge vote? Because when Coach gets unanimously booted, that was not in line with any of the super fast speed episode I had just watched. Mark, explain to me what happened and how that merge vote came together.
My psychopathic tendencies just took hold. That's the best explanation I can offer. I'd like to point out that I got near unanimous votes on both group tribals, and for someone who has no individual social capital, I'm quite proud of the fact that when you get everyone together, I get my way. But like in any one-on-one conversation, people walk away like, you need to go. So the merge vote was like, I wanted to get in with Tara, right? That was my number one goal from this vote. And Coach was never going to play with me. So DC, in this conversation back and forth between you two, I wish you and I connected after Coach's vote, because I was the one that told Tara that everyone was coming for her. And I was kind of trying to take my own allies to get Orange out. And if anything, I feel like I kind of signed, sealed, delivered your death sentence in the following episode when I chose to give Jacob the solution to the puzzle over you. So I feel like if you and I had connected post Coach's vote out, which was the move I very heavily forced because he was the obstacle to me getting allies, the game would have changed. And I think you and I missing that connection had massive repercussions.
Yeah, we kind of tried to connect twice. Very early on in the piece, in the first vote, your name was coming up all the time. And I was running around shutting that down. And then my name was coming up all the time and I was trying to shut that down. You and I at one stage did connect, and we did say, are we still good with each other? Because I think in the first vote, in the first section, you and I had said, yeah, let's try and see
a good vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when during that, somewhere along the line, I don't know which vote it was, but you and I connected and we went, are we still good together? And I think it was the same conversation where you said, oh, if you're not voting for Coach, you're dead to me. And that was pretty much verbatim. So yeah, it is a shame because I really did connect with you in those little moments we had. It's just we never got a chance to tease it out.
Yeah,
that does sound like the sort of social finesse MARC would deliver. And this is coming as a shock to me because from my perspective, MARC and Tara were twin flames in this game. They knew they needed each other. They were two halves of the same coin. David, you're telling me that you didn't much care for how Tara played the game, but you felt like you connected with the man who told you that he would hate you unless you did what he wanted.
Oh, it's kind of like those weird things. I mean, I knew what the game MARC was playing at that point, so I didn't really care what he said to me. It's kind of it's Tara. It's with Tara and sorry, Tara. I mean, I'll say it to your face. I've said it publicly. So it was very much, and it was all to do with the optics at the time. And again, inexperience with gameplay, et cetera, and not being that little bit more forthright. Because as you probably guessed by now, in real life, I'm no wilted flower. And I think it was more to do with the optics and inexperience. I didn't know Tara from a bar of soap. I didn't know that she played before. And was but I thought I was playing with Tara. And that's, as Tara's already pointed out, that's something I didn't engage with because of an optic. Really,
the scissoring at the well, yeah.
And the thing is MARC wears his game on his sleeve. He really works very, very, very hard at his game, as does Tara. Both are very incredible hard workers, great thinkers, great strategists, and really good at getting votes from very large groups. And also, I mean, you've got to give credit to MARC for the idol play, the fake idol play, the actual fact that he could manage to swing everybody around so that he could get an idol. The fact that he got me to vote for Coach, I think it was more Haley did, but these are fabulous plays. They're just absolutely top-notch survivor plays, and I've got to give credit to both of them for what they've pulled off. Plus the lovely thing about both of them, they make great TV. They're great to watch. They're entertaining, and they clearly know the game very, very well. Clearly, a lot more than I do. And I've got to take my hat off to both of them for that. They're both so entertaining and so wonderful to watch play.
Okay, this isn't a give each other compliments show.
Okay,
love that.
Right, I can do the other way if you like. I can go the other way.
I want to go back to Mark.
I'm going to quickly answer your question. You were like, what drove that merge play? And
yes, I did.
My thing is that, like, at the merge, you have the most people on screen. You have the most voices being heard. And I was like, so many people are going to fade into the background and be quiet this episode. And I kind of was like, I'm here to do two things: be an iconic survivor player, but my also mini game was getting as much screen time as possible. And I knew that I had all the tools in my bag to get that. So I think I just went really ham, really hard, knowing that I could do the most dramatic thing that anyone has done on an LRG ever, because that would immortalize me. And then from that point, I could relax because I'd already done it. So
I love that. You were truly playing the Traitors US metagame. Yes, Tara? Were you trying to say something just then, Tara? No?
No.
No. All right. Well, I want to go to the Tara Mark, because it seemed like you two formed a bond right from the beginning when we were one-worlding it, and you did go on to be twin flames. How did that happen, Mark? Had you seen Tara's game before and knew that she was going to be just as much of a ham as you?
So, okay, a couple of things went into this. I got into the backyard community through Josh O'Brien, and Josh introduced me to Tara's Edgic shortly before the season. And then that whole first vote, I feel like the reason why I wasn't first boot was because of Tara and Mel. We had a lot of connection in that first vote. It was like Mel, Tara, and I, and the crew were collectively like wetting themselves at this iconic trio that had formed. So yeah, I was the one that like let Tara knew that I knew about the Edgic, I knew about her background, and I knew that like her and I were the perfect shields to protect each other. But also, if we managed to be on the same wavelength, no one could stop the shit that we could do. So that's where that came from.
Yeah, so we get to the post-merge, and Tara, you're still copping a lot of heat like you have every single round at this point. People have identified that you and Mark had an alliance. Do you think you were obvious about that, or do you think people were perceptive?
Both. 100% both. I think I was fairly, like, when I played Melbourne Survivor, I was very tight with Calvin. There's always like this big, player that I always love to align with and work with. And I do think with Mark, I was more subtle, but like there's only so much subtlety either of us are capable of. But yeah, I think people were perceptive enough to pick up on the fact that we would be drawn to work together. I think Haley was definitely like the person that clocked the hardest. Like, we have to keep these two apart. And that was perceptiveness on her part.
Part of this twin flames was that each of you were quite polarizing players and had in particular a nemesis, someone for whom you lived rent-free in their brain. They couldn't stop talking about you. They were obsessed with the idea of getting rid of you from the beginning. For Tara, it was Haley. For Mark, you had Jacob, who didn't seem to like you from the very beginning. And yet you would go out of your way to have Jacob's back. Where was the disjunct there, Mark? Where were you not picking up on the fact this man did not like you?
In a weird way, like in a weird masochistic way, I kind of knew that he hated me. And I knew that the more that I gave him, the harder it was for him to get rid of me. So it was kind of like just a bit of fun back and forth. Like, I was really like backed into a corner. I think the best thing the cast did was keep real allies away from me. But I don't know. Like, I don't know where it came from. Like, I think Jacob was correct. Everything he did, distancing me, was like the right call. But I think in that clutch endgame, I was so desperate to stay alive that I think I was probably the person that could have propped him to the end if he allowed that to happen. So at the end of the day, like, I was happy to play with anyone that was willing to play with me. So
do you feel like Tara going in the episode before you was that? For me, I thought the moment Tara, I thought the pair of you needed each other in order to survive.
We needed to be on the tribe and the swap. When we were swapped in that previous round, we needed to be together to protect each other. And the reason, well, I'm going to say this, Tara, you can back me up. We both voted for split, which was the minority, because we knew that if we did 2 back-to-back tribals, it was her than me.
Okay. So, you needed to be, when you say you swap, you mean you needed to be on the same one on the split?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's making sense. I want to go back to the actual tribe swap splits, Tara, where you somehow managed to persuade the original Green Girls to keep you over Jacob, despite the fact you were terrifying them by presenting them with multiple options. I do love watching you, Tara, because you're like thinking at 1,000 miles a minute. You're presenting 6 different strategies they could go with, and then you've got the DCs of the world who are like, "Girl, be less. Let's have one plan, okay? Let's have a good plan and let's stick with it." The Greenies were not having a bar of it, and I was shooketh when they decided to go with you over the calm, collected, I'm here to stick with you, Jacob. How do you think you managed to successfully swing that one?
I honestly think it was, and I mean this with all the love in the world to Zoe and Jess, I think it was to their inexperience and unfamiliarity with like basic game mechanics, let alone like all these complicated mechanics in play. And I think you look at the Mel Sheen vote when Mel Sheen went, the Kath Chase vote, when Kath went home, she didn't have a vote, and therefore the girls just kind of felt like, oh, there's no real point like keeping Kath around over Mel. I think it was just kind of, they weren't really able to play out the alternative with much confidence in their head. So the likelihood they were going to execute on a plan they're not very confident about is low. So I think, honestly, it was probably the right strategy for me to at least survive that round, to bombard them with scary thoughts of like what could happen, rather than be persuasive, because I don't think there was anything I could have actually done to be persuasive beyond that.
Did you not feel like you formed some kind of bond with them out of that? Because I felt like the Green Girls were then major swing votes at the merge. You had promised one of them, and don't ask me to remember the names, Jess, that you were going to give her the extra vote, and you never do. And part of me was always wondering if that's what pushed them into the loving, warm, I hate you, do as I say, or I'll kill you embrace of Mark at Orange. Why didn't you give them your vote?
I should have. In hindsight, and it's not, I don't think either of them particularly held it against me at the merge, because they would occasionally come back or like at least reference in passing, you know, at least we still have Tara's extra vote as well if we want to do something with that. Like, I don't feel like they felt like they didn't have some degree of ownership over it, but I do think just them being so new to the game, having given them that like physical piece of parchment would have really sealed the deal in a way in which I don't feel like they could just do in the abstract conceptual universe of things. I think it was an oversight on my part, and honestly I kept forgetting about it as well.
Mark, remind me the name of the blonde woman who was in the final?
Megan,
love you Megan, icon. Megan with the many idols. Megan was really pissed off at Kate, The Green Girls, they were flipping all over the place, somehow managing to skate all the way to the end. She wants Kate's head on a stick. And you still end up going out there. I had to watch this last episode on 2x with scrubbing because we were coming up to this podcast. Talk to me about where you effed up in the end.
I fucked up the vote before. I think I've done this ad nauseum. I knew that I was going out of that round. Like there was nothing you could do about it. I needed to have more ammo, and the only ammo I could find was Tarkan's Legacy, and I had a way to get that, but it didn't pan out on the day. I think it just came to a point where like running the numbers, you had Jacob with the hate boner for me, Megan that also wanted me gone because she felt threatened by my screen time presence. You had Jess and Zoe who, similar to Tara, they just hate anyone that talks at 100 miles per hour, so they wanted me gone. And that was like a 2 against 4 with Haley who wanted me as a shield. So like I knew that I was going out at that point. Like I was doing the Hail Mary play because that was the only line of play I saw left.
All right. Now, pausing our thoughts here, David. I know you have to go because you have theatre commitments.
Yeah.
You've got to go now. Yes. Thank you so much. You have brought us one of the greatest Tea Party Orcapod beefs, right up there with the Survivor Canberra 2, or was it 3? I don't remember, beef. May we get you back on a returning season just so we can see you actually do some explosive fighting on the show, because we were lacking that. Rivals, anyone? I see it, DC and Tara. Where can people find you, David, if they want to follow you on Instagram or Twitter or whatever you're social mediaing these days?
I do, basically. There is an Instagram account. I don't use it very much after the summit finished, but that's David Cotgrave is my tag on Instagram. So it's just me and my surname, and Facebook if they want to hang in there. I mean, they can come through the various friends and stuff.
Stunning.
So yeah, anyway,
and watch him on the summit. Watch him on the summit, everyone.
The epic failure that was the summit. Yes. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on board, Tara. I love you to bits. Same with you, Mark. I'll see you at the school.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
I teach DC's son, which is like a bit of background war.
Oh, you do. So did the kids love watching you be the messiest?
They're obsessed. On that note, I do have to give a bit of a shout out to my girlies, Mia, Rosa, and Ruby. They were in the back watching Backyard Survivor on 1.25 extra in my class today, and yeah, we love the girlies. So rooting for that.
We do love the girlies. I feel like I'm missing some of your messiest moments, Mark. There were just so many of them, so many where you would say something completely outrageous to someone and then get away with it. When you rewatched, normally I have the CK questions here for me. I'm just trying to go off my fried brain. When you rewatched it, what moment did you watch where you were simultaneously like, yes, slay, this is incredible, but also slightly like, oh my God.
Okay, I can't believe I spent the whole weekend just talking to people like this. Just head down. I go back to that moment and I realize that I was physically doing it, but in the moment I'm sitting there being like, yes, slay, you're doing this, like you're selling this story. And then like Tarkan, I have to give him the flowers here. Read me like no one else. Whenever I thought I got away with something, here's a confessional that was like, Mark was white in the eyes. I could see right through him. He is terrified. And he had me on lock. Like no one else read me like Tarkan did. So here, girly.
Tarkan seemed quite normal for an LRG player.
So normal.
Yeah, really normal.
Am I having, sorry, I want you to continue, Mark, but while I'm remembering this, I need to ask, am I having like a false memory or confusing him with someone else? Or did Tarkan play like a Melbourne Survivor mini?
No.
Tarkan
No.
He's never played, no.
All right, it was a lookalike.
Yeah, maybe a lookalike.
So yeah, sorry, back to Mark's the many times that you cringed but also slayed.
Yeah, no,
Tarkan clocked you, yes.
I think at the well, like when I had that like summit moment where I was like pretending to fake cry, the crocodile tears came out. I needed the advantage, and he willingly handed it to me. I knew Zoe had to, because she had, even though I knew that she like was not mechanically aware, I was like, if you give up your vote right now, you are fucked. So it was Tarkan I was pleading to, and I walked away from that being like, we're good. And then he walked away being like, that fucking loser. And he had me like, yeah, no, like so straight to me.
Thank you for reminding me of that moment, because that moment was absolutely hilarious. Like, you already have a bounty idol. You like start fake crying about being on the bottom, and they literally just give you the advantage. And you try and pull the same move in your boot episode where you start crying about wanting to make it to 5. It's like you had two main plays. It was like, bombard people with my insane number of advantages, real or imagined, or just like fake burst into tears.
I've been very open. I am not a nice person. I am psychopathic. Like, I will emotionally manipulate, gaslight, girl boss you like all the way to the end if I have to. But do you know what it is? Like, in some weird twisted way, like those tears are real. Like, I do care. Like, this is my pride. This is everything. And it's not so much crying because I'm like emotionally upset. It's crying because of like how much this does mean to me. But yeah, the tears are not tears that you should like feel empathy for. They're ones you should definitely judge me for. But
I think we were. I think we were.
My God.
We were so robbed of having more moments of you working together. Tara, this wasn't your first or last rodeo. How did this experience compare for you in your pantheon of LRG? We can just refer to the many minis you've done.
Yeah, I really think that the main standout thing of Backyard Survivor was the scale, like the magnitude of it all. It was crazy, like having every player individually mic'd up, and there's like a designated sound team like hiding in the bushes and like switching your mic packs out, and like experience wise it was phenomenal. But it was the atmosphere, the culture, it felt so well organized, and like it flowed like a river. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, that is excellent to hear. And I thought you did pretty well as well.
Well, yeah, I think I did well given the circumstances. I think the circumstances were quite hard off the bat. I don't think I was physically, mentally, emotionally capable of doing much better at that time. But I think there's, that watching it back 4 years after I'd played Melbourne Survivor and watched that back, it was scary to see how little my game had evolved in some ways. Like, it was actually very disheartening, to say the least. I was, disappointed at that, to be sure. Yeah.
Look, sometimes we just fall back into the same toxic patterns. I too make the same mistakes every time. I want to talk, though, about your nemesis, Hayley. Mark's ride or die and your nemesis. Obviously, DC's let us know. You're socially inept. It's just one of your character flaws. But what did you do to Hayley? Because she wanted you right from the very beginning.
I did nothing to Hayley. She had
I disagree. You did something.
Exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You came into this world and it is Hayley's world and you exist in it, and that's just not okay.
Correct. I played in like an org years ago with that Eli ran. And Hayley, I guess, had played in a previous season and spectated me in that game. And I did quite well in that game, to be fair. It was probably one of my best games I've ever played. And I suppose that was enough for Hayley to be all over me. And I think Liz had actually sent Hayley years ago the Melbourne Survivor season to watch on YouTube that I played. So I really have a lot of hosts to blame for this situation. Kyle and Brian for putting us on the same season, Eli for letting Hayley have such an insider look into that game, and Liz as well, to be fair.
Yeah. It was everyone's fault except for yours, I have to agree. Yeah. But you, Mark, you managed to form a really strong relationship with Hayley. And even though she kind of teased us at multiple points along the way that she was going to turn on you, she really didn't until her hand was forced. How much of that do you think had to do with the fact that Megan at this point has amassed 2 idols?
Literally my worst nightmare. Like, Megan did a very good job of making everyone have a false sense of security around her. Like, I will give her the flowers in that fact that she played the most under the radar game with the biggest, like, lurking threat. So, excellent job there. I just feel like the whole cast didn't play mechanics and strategy very well, but they formed social bonds better than Tara and I did. The only social bond I was able to really lock in with was Hayley, because we had a real genuine connection, and the edit didn't really show that. And I think, like, early game, you see a lot of me doing my antics, me doing my advantages, and you never see a scene of Hayley and I actually having a human moment. But they were there, and there's a reason why she didn't turn at me on every opportunity she had to do so. So, yeah, like, it was just a pretty unfortunate, like, grouping where the person I was least close to had the most physical ammunition to use against me. But she played a really, really good game. But I did kind of explicitly blame Megan for my exit at the same time, and that might have impacted her jury chances. Cutting shot on my behalf, but she did a very good job and she played a very strong game.
You both benefited and suffered, Mark, from the surplus of advantages. And full credit, you did bully your way all the way to the final 6 with one single friend. So I think that is a celebration in itself. Now, Mark, once you were out, we were on a time crunch. I skipped all of episode 10 up until I saw who was the winner, and I saw that there was, who was the one vote for Megan? Give me a summary. Someone give me a summary, Tara, of what actually happened at the tribal council. What went down there? I missed it all.
Honestly,
obviously the highlights, they're usually really boring.
I think a lot of the highlights included myself. I'll be real. There was a lot of throughout tribal council. Mark, you too, obviously. But I do think there was a lot of moments throughout that tribal, in person at least, where there was a lot of back and forth between myself and the 2 finalists, because they were the 2 that probably iced me out the most of everyone in the cast. And they had some answering to do for that. And I needed to be a part of that, I felt.
A lot of the season was Kumbaya, and Tara and I are not Kumbaya girlies, so we were ready to have it out.
Jess was the sole vote for Megan. I actually was really close to casting a vote for Megan, but Hayley she didn't do a great opening speech. Megan probably did the better opening speech. However, Hayley was better, I feel, at speaking to each member of the jury. Mark, anything to add?
I was at the booth, and I'd love to watch my vote for Hayley back, because I agree. I very nearly voted for Megan as well, despite the fact that I was Hayley's campaign manager. I thought that Megan did a really, really good job.
Yeah.
I just voted, at the end of the day, I voted selfishly. Like, I had a chance to get Hayley out and to get myself 1 vote further, and I didn't take it out of loyalty. And I'm not a loyal person, so she earned it. But that wasn't based off Final Tribal Council. That was based off her gameplay relating to me, because I only care about myself. So
Love that. All right, so as you know, the votes are about to open to the Grand Orca Council, where they will be voting for the most prestigious prize in Survivor LRG community. That is the Orca Award for the most Orca player of the season. I would like to remind everyone of the 3 key Orca criteria. There is number 1, propensity for narcissism. You need to make sure that in all of your confessionals, you're delusionally talking about how amazing you are and how you've got the game on lock. 2, loud and proud. You need to have rubbed somebody the wrong way, preferably within the first episode, but very early on in the game. And number 3, strong arming strategy. Your way or the highway. If people don't do what you want, you hate them, you need to get your own way at all times. So this is what we're going to be voting for. And I think the only 2 contenders for the Orca of the season are right here with us now. And as the first time guest on the Tea Party, Mark, I'm going to give you the option. Would you like to pitch before or after Tara?
You know what? I'll take the opening speech because I don't need to detract from Tara's pitch at all. Not voting for me would be a mistake. The 3 categories, I feel like I exceeded expectations in the opening episode, and that was with a purple edit for the first 34 minutes. You only see me in the second half, and yet visibility on narcissism, loud and proudness, strong arming strategy. I get Tommy out with a public idol. I tell Tarkan that I'm voting for him and he will get votes, and it doesn't matter. There is no other Orca. If you vote for Tara or anyone else, you are doing a disservice and you should be exiled from the community of Orcas because the democracy has failed. The government will be overthrown. Elect me. Elect the correct choice.
Strong arming strategy, even in the Orca pitch. Tara?
I'll be real, Annabel. Last time I played a filmed season, it was Melbourne Survivor. Calvin got the Orca. This time I'm pretty sure Mark's getting it regardless of what I say here. I have Orca attributes. I openly admit that. I'm a strong honorary member, but I'll be real, I'm going to concede my place in the running for Orca because I have to preserve my ego. Thank you.
The problem is, Tara, wherever there is a loud and proud, narcissistic, strong-arming woman, they always manage to find an even worse man.
Right.
And for some reason, we find ourselves drawn to them. And at 10 p.m. on their shitty podcast, doing... Kidding, it's an amazing podcast, CK. All right, that's beautiful. Now, is there anything we didn't cover in particular that you wanted to make sure you gave screen time?
Yeah,
Mark?
Listen, as I finish my bottle, I have some feedback, if that's okay.
Please.
I want to talk about my best friend, Josh O'Brien, if that's okay.
Oh, we love Josh, yes.
We love Josh. So my game started at night 0. I arrived to the venue with Josh hidden in my front seat of my car, like a little bit of a refugee. We covered him with like bags and sleeping bags and like things. And we had to hide our connection. So that was a fun little moment.
Oh.
Josh was filming Orange Camp all of day 1. And throughout the day, Josh and Jacob are friends. I'll leave it at that. And Haley and Megan were obsessed with Josh. So I had to sit there just being like, oh, you're a regular camera person and not my best friend who I've known for the last 20 years of my life. So that was really cute. What about you, Tara?
I love that.
Robocop over here. You did some gossip from night 1, I believe, as well.
Prior to the game even beginning, I was very excited to be over in Perth, and there were definitely some people I wanted to hang out with in the lead up, none of which were in the game, but all of which have played Backyard Survivor before. Josh O'Brien gave me a lift from Calvin's place, where I was staying, to a Birac 4 hangout, and it was nice to hang out with them because I feel like they had a lot of tea. And I would argue on production, there were a lot of crew members that were kind of shit at asking questions in confessionals, but the best people were all from season 4. I will die on that hill 100%. So I felt like it was worth going to that to have better questions asked to me, or at least like people that were actually attentive to the game that was happening. So that was nice.
We all love Michael's confessional with me where I'm like begging for Tarkan's advantage. And he was like, no, you're fucked. Okay. Leave.
I love that you thought that even though Tarkan clearly had other friends he'd actually worked with in the game, that you would be the person he would give the advantage to.
You know what? It was like I knew that I was deluded in the moment, but the delusion was the only hope that I had. So it was enough. Like, it's either that or just give up, right?
It's true. It was beautiful.
This is more tea. Michael sabotaged me though. Like Michael is not my friend in these games. So first of all, I made him construct my tent because as a homosexual, that was not a skill set that I have. And I blindly trusted this straight man to build my swag, and he did it upside down on a hill. So my head was like down. It was not good. The reason why you got the chaotic demon that I was day one was because I couldn't sleep anyway. And yeah, I just practiced speaking all night. And by speaking, I mean telling people that they're fucking dead to me.
They're fucking dead to you, and do as you say or else. Also, like, if the straights can't even put together a tent, why are we keeping them around?
Exactly. My point exactly.
Incredible. Well, you were both so much fun. I dedicated about 5 hours of my life today to watching you on 2X, and I didn't hate the experience. I gasped at moments. I gasped. My biggest gasp moments when Tara somehow managed to convince the straighties to keep her on the swap tribe. When Mark fake cried at the well, and then I had to rewatch the Super Idol moment because it was just so ridiculous. That little moment when the pair of you, when Tara, you confront Mark and Mark whips out the the idol glue with the bit at the bottom ripped off, and you're just like, okay, Mark, and Mark's like. And everyone else is like, Super Idol, can you believe it? I was gagged. The pair of you gagged me. It was glorious. Mark, what have you got going on? Where can people find you?
Well, you probably can't find me anywhere because I probably already blocked you anyway. But I am Mark Newbound on Instagram, and my gamer tag is Kitten Boss if you want to play some Marvel Rivals or anything else with me. Be a bit of a girl.
Oh, I love that. That's cute. And what about you, Tara?
You can just find me searching my name, I suppose. Yeah, I guess slight announcement. I'm soft launching the news that I have quit sales, and I'm going back to university to study law.
No way!
Yes way.
Congratulations! That's so exciting. That's so exciting. Oh, girl, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And Annabel, where can we find you? Because you're a bit of a podcasting queen. I haven't watched any Australian Survivor, but I've consumed the whole season through you. A bit of like a baby bird, like regurgitating situation where you go on the podcast and I'm just watching it. So
thank you. I am all over the place. I did just cover Australian Survivor on the Cringes Reel, where we talked mostly about who had the biggest dick. Yes. But you can find my podcasting over at Babes on the Brink, where Chili Philly and Eileen are covering Survivor, and I will be covering some off-season Traitors content. But we love you all. May we manifest no other LRGs are released in the near future so that I get at least a few months off before I have to watch another one. But stay tuned for CK's 100th episode. Yeah.
We're going straight back into the rank down, so you've got like 3 more.
We've not finished the rank down? No. It's not over yet?
No, we're back in. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, God.
They're all seasons you've watched before, though, so that's something.
I have to rewatch? I have to rewatch?
No, you don't. No, I just sent you the question.
All right. Okay.
So,
well, it's never ending here at the Orca Pod. There's always more. See, thank you both. You've both been brilliant. True orcas, both of you. Tara, forever a runner-up, and Mark, I'm sure we'll see you joining us in the prestigious Orcas Lounge soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Night.